I'm actually over here in the Northwest Quadrant. Just had a little lunch meeting at the historic hotel Tabard Inn, which dates back to the 1800s. And, Mark, I'm out here on the street, and it's pretty quiet. It's pretty calm. I think everybody who lives here has either left or bunkered down,
I'll bet. I saw somebody had gone there, and I'm assuming maybe they used Airbnb or something. They'd rented a nice apartment.
Yes.
4 or 5 blocks from the Capitol building. Probably these D.C. people fled town and rented their houses out.
Yeah, Mark, you're going back to Lacey Clay and and John Lewis and the rest of the crew. Mark, if they're going to boycott tomorrow, I don't mind if they boycott tomorrow night, but in exchange for that, I'd like them to boycott the next 8 years in Congress, because America would be a lot better off if they all just stay home, right?
Yeah, boy, that's the truth. That's the truth. I went on the New York Times is always willing to side on the part of liberal protesters. The New York Times had an interactive map. So in case you were going to D.C. to protest, you could see the pre-designated spots where all the protesters were going to be.
That's probably a good idea. I'll tell you, Mark, we got here yesterday and went to dinner last night up in a quieter residential section, about a mile from the White House. It's amazing, Mark. You can get outside of when you're down near the perimeter, yes, all signs of what's going on here are extremely visible. There are barricades in places that I didn't think you could put barricades in. I've never seen before. So there's barricades and fencing and police vehicles and choppers overhead, all focused on that National Mall area for anybody who's visited here. The mall reaching from the Capitol building and extending west to the Lincoln Memorial with the Washington Monument in between. That is a heavily fortified area. We were probably one of the last folks to get through last night as we went back to our hotel over in Virginia. I'm staying over in the Free State of Virginia, Mark. So, but everything around there is pretty intense. But if you get away from the perimeter out into some of the more residential areas, it gets quiet pretty quickly. But you can tell there's a lot of energy here, a lot of excitement. We were over on Capitol Hill today, visited Senator Blunt's office building to pick up our tickets for the inauguration tomorrow. And I know Jamie Allman is actually on the road right now on his way up here. And we're just looking forward to it is remarkable. We are going to have, despite the contentious election, we are going to have a peaceful transition of power. This doesn't happen very well or frequently around the globe.
Yeah. We were just talking before we got you on the phone about CNN doing a story yesterday speculating on who would take over if Donald Trump got assassinated before he was sworn in. And I said, could you imagine a media organization doing that story leading up to Barack Obama's swearing in, speculating on somebody killing him?
Yeah. Mark, the hypocrisy, I've never seen. They've made, they're giving hypocrites a bad name, the Democrats, over the last few weeks, because I've never seen hypocrisy at these levels where you're right. If someone had even breathed or even those words and the thought police had found out about it, about Barack Obama, that Reverend Al Sharpton and the rest of the race-baiting industry, they would be having marches right now, descending upon all the evil people who dared suggest any harm befall President Obama. But of course, when did it become okay to issue death threats against the incoming president of the United States? That's usually calls for the FBI to get involved. And it seems like with Trump, it's like, well, that's okay, and people just look the other way. So it really is an amazing double standard. All the John Lewis stuff where he was allowed to get away with the huge lie that he had never skipped an inauguration before, which we remembered it was a lie because it just happened not too long ago. John Lewis has done great things in the past. In recent memory, he's been nothing more than a very partisan political hack. Mark, you may remember, he was the guy who led the sit-in in Congress just a few years ago. Remember when they all dressed in their pajamas and sat in because they were upset that the Republicans took over after one of the midterms? He led that crew, too. Yeah, I take nothing away from all the great things he did for civil rights in this country. But a lot of people do a lot of great things for civil rights in this country and continue to do so, whereas he has decided to play political games. I've never seen a transition like this where a group of the far left is trying to use every single thing to not give Donald Trump any sort of quarter, no honeymoon period, what happened to the days when we said, okay, let's wait for them to at least get into office and issue some policies before we start just personally trying to assassinate them through the media.
Yeah, that's a good point. You know, I don't know about you, but whenever I buy tickets to some event, I immediately pull up the blueprint of the seating chart to find out where my seat is. You have any idea where you're going to be sitting tomorrow for this event?
Yes, Mark. We will be. So you've got the dais, the platform that everybody is seeing. There's some great shots of that on Fox News. They've got a great vantage point, of course, on the mall there. We're going to be there's 6 to 8 main sections directly in front of the platform. We're going to be on the right-hand side in section 6.
Okay.
So about 2 to 3 sections back from the center of the platform. So I think we've got really good seats. We may be in TV viewing range. I'm not exactly sure.
It's massive. I was looking at that earlier with Liz and I were kind of picking out the areas. And my question for Senator Blunt later is going to be if there are 60 Democrats who are not going to show up tomorrow. I know that Congress gets seated in the front. Are there going to be 60 empty seats?
I hope not, Mark. I'll volunteer for an upgrade.
Thank you.
Senator Blunt can move us up and he can move. No. So, Mark, I think what Senator Blunt's going to tell you is, no, they're not going to give the media that opportunity to instead of focusing in on what they should be focusing in on, which is the peaceful power of Donald Trump. You know what they would do, Mark? They'd have a camera fixated on
that spot.
seats.
Yeah.
That could be, I believe what's going to happen is when everybody who shows up is going to show up from Congress, they will then fill those seats in. Trust me, there's plenty of people who want to have a front row seat for this dramatic, historic moment tomorrow. And we're just really blessed to be here. We want to thank Senator Blunt for all he's done. Let me tell you, his office has handled this. He's in charge of one of the 3 committees on the inauguration.
Right.
His job is to do everything up to swearing in. We've met many Missourians today in the Russell Senate building, coming and going. Everybody has a smile on their face and there's something in their hearts. And there's a lot of dour faces walking around D.C., Mark.
I'm sure there are. Tim Jones, listen, have a great night. Tell the president-elect hello when you get to sit down to dinner with him later.
I will give him your best.
I appreciate that, and we'll talk to you tomorrow for a full report after the swearing in.
Absolutely, Mark. Folks, remember, it's 11 Central Time, so 11 a.m. tomorrow, Missouri time. Tune in and witness history.
Very good. Tim, thank you.
Thank you.
Have fun, my friend. Just a reminder, Liz mentioned this earlier, but I need to mention it now. We will carry live coverage of the inauguration tomorrow between 10 and noon, and we think the actual inauguration itself is going to happen around 11, and then the president's speech will follow that. And then, of course, we'll be on the air here after. We're giving away T-shirts all day tomorrow, one every hour. We may get to give one away this afternoon. I've heard that rumor. Rick and Tracy Ellis are going to join us later. They're sponsoring these T-shirts. I think we'll give one away in their honor when we have them on the air in the next hour. 314-969-9797 when we come back. We're going to switch gears a little bit.